good way. And yeah, we're gonna see not much of the actual casual gameplay, but yeah, we're just gonna jump right in, I guess. There's, in the first half of the run, there's not so much time for me to explain stuff, or at least at the start I can't really explain everything, but we'll come to that. And also Accurate is with me, co-commentary.
Hi.
I think he's off camera, but...
Yeah, I actually am.
Okay, we're just gonna start, and we're playing on apocalyptic difficulty, because difficulty in Darksiders does not really have any effect for the game or the run itself, because like, we will not get hit too much by enemies anyway, thanks to a special technique. But yeah, we're gonna start right now. Timing starts as soon as we move, and yeah, Accurate will start the timer as well. So yeah.
Since the dawn of time.
So first of all, we're gonna fight a so-called car thrower here. This car thrower we can manipulate by throwing well, a lamp at him to make him fall down here. Not sure if that's like intended or not, but normally you would have to fight the minions besides him. Anyway, we beat him with a demon form because that's like the fastest way of just yeah, fighting him. And now we position here to just turn around and do some backwards dashing. This is also the first technique. It's called sword dashing. It's just chaining dash after dash by holding the left mouse button, which cancels the cooldown. And it's like a very, very useful movement technique for Darksiders the run. Coming up is another skip here. Normally you would have to do some, or fight some angels, but we're just gonna do something else. Gonna jump on this car, jump on the golem, and conveniently there are some invisible platforms here which we can use to jump over him.
It's actually decently important too, because it allows us to keep Chaos Form for the entirety of the prologue, which we're gonna be using later. Normally we won't have Chaos Form anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So, you saw me throw a car there over to the wall, and now car physics in this game are interesting, I would say. You'll see why in a second, because we're just gonna take this car with us. Come on. And we're gonna place this car on the wall, which works magic, I guess. Anyway, you need to have like a pretty specific positioning and angle of wall to make this work. Sometimes you get trolled by the car as well, so it's good that that worked.
The idea is that the car doors don't actually exist until the car gets damaged. So what we do is like we make them exist, like we make them appear inside the wall, so that keeps the car standing inside the wall.
So now on this wall, well, you need to jump on this wall, and there are some enemies up there which can sometimes troll you. Let's hope they won't this time. Of course they do. It's like pretty rare, but we can just, it doesn't do much. And here's a so-called fourth fight skip. It's a skip that skips an older skip. And basically there's an invisible platform which, when we have a certain momentum, we can reach and skip a whole segment down there on the street and in the house and everything. And it's a really cool skip that was actually, like, the newest iteration was only found, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something, I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, coming up to the first boss fight of the game, which is Straga, and spoilers, he is gonna kill us. That's basically the whole premise of the game, or the lore setup. Anyway, the fastest way to actually beat him is to use cars. Who would have thought? You can just put these cars here. We want to have 6 cars. And now he's gonna throw 3 more. Hopefully he won't troll us. He didn't. Okay, that should work out fine. Now we're gonna just take one car, throw it at him, wait a little bit, throw the other car. Then we can actually damage him with our spin attack. And yeah, that's actually really lucky. Like, you can get so screwed over here at this point by RNG. Sometimes even with manipulating him, he just does not cooperate.
The idea is that Straga is supposed to like destroy the cars he's throwing every time you shoot at him. But he actually can't destroy the cars that are like covered by this building, I wanna say.
Yeah.
So you just like put them there, and if you get like this in RNG, they all go there, and you can just choose Cycle King without waiting for him to throw cars.
It has, like, if you stand right and put the cars in the right spot, it has a pretty high chance of working, but usually you spend like a lot of time here in prologue. It's just the reset part of this run. And yeah, so we're now dying. We're not gonna really see that because we're skipping all the cutscenes, obviously. but now I'm not exactly sure about the full lore because I have not played this game casually. I know I should. It's like supposed to be a really good casual playthrough, but there's something with this game. The World Record holder Aftermath, big shoutouts to him. He is playing this game for 6 years or something, and the community for Darksiders always have been like, or always has been like really small. And despite this game being very broken, as you will see in a bit, there have not been many runners, and he was kind of tired of that. He wanted to bring some new people to the game, and so he kind of put up a challenge, a competition, with like a prize money, and that prize money, the total prize money, was $2,100 or something. It was put up in December, and I would lie if I said that didn't motivate, or that did not motivate me to pick this game up. So I did, and I'm really enjoying the run despite it. It's like a very technical, movement-focused run, and I'm definitely gonna keep playing this, no matter how the competition goes. Anyway, we've seen some cars before. We put them on walls. Guess what we're doing here again? Just casually placing a car here on the wall and jumping up there. It skips like a level or a floor that you normally would have to clear manually. Now we can just climb up here. There's a fire enemy, golem, whatever, who sometimes control you. He kind of cooperated there. The dashing technique here, we only saw one so far. We're gonna see some more in a bit. The fastest dashing technique is backwards or sideways dashing with a sword dashing, but you can't do that everywhere, especially if enemies are around. Now here we've got to fight these guys, and you see another glitch or technique that's called sword cancelling. Normally, obviously, you were not supposed to swing your sword this fast, but if we just, with the right timing, block, we can also prevent the cooldown of the sword and reset the animation, basically.
The idea is to like reset the combo with block, and then you can just immediately attack again.
Exactly. Normally, well, you would need to, or we need to fight these minions, and that went by pretty fast. And now we have to kill this dude, which the fastest way to do that is just throw some tables and chairs at him.
Yeah, our sword does like basically no damage now. Technically, plot-wise, we've been like Dishonor or something, so our powers has been taken off. So like a random table does way more damage than our sword right now.
Yeah. Okay, here we're just gonna dash around some enemies, and in this case, because we have to go like a spiral route, it's actually fine to just dash sideways, but normally like you don't want to do that everywhere. Okay, Crossroads. Crossroads, I need to focus a little bit, because I'm trying to do fast Crossroads.
The idea here is that we have to collect like 500 souls, says there. And the fastest way of doing this is to get a chest that's hidden by like 4 like water springers, I want to say. I don't really know what to call them. Actually, I think it's 5 of them. And the fastest way of getting them is like throwing random environmental objects. So it's kind of precise because the things are pretty small.
Also, the enemies can troll you here sometimes.
Yeah, the enemies can block things.
Like there. Where's my crate? Okay, there it is. Trash bin. Okay, did not want to grab that. Come on, game. Let's take this.
That should
worked.
work,
Let's
yeah.
see. Okay, no, we didn't get the glitch. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes this can glitch and you have to like reload for the chest to spawn.
Yeah, the first thing is like the first hole that you want to destroy, the fire hydrant. It has kind of 2 hitboxes from what I know, and sometimes you hit the wrong one, so it makes it disappear, but not actually well complete the trigger or something. Pretty weird. So you saw me really aiming very well there, and you need to do that in order to actually fully hit it. Anyway, we now got our horn, which is like our first weapon. I'm gonna collect some more weapons during the run. You'll see that later why that's important, because not all weapons we're gonna use, but they serve a purpose, which we will see after like 30 minutes.
It's not as much the weapons as it is the number of weapons.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so that's another technique, by the way. It's another side dashing. It's slightly slower than the backwards dashing and the sword dashing. Oops. But it's still faster than just forwards dashing, which we will not do in many situations. Okay, these enemies, sometimes depending on where they spawn, can prevent you from going where you want to be.
The idea is like to sword dash, you have to like see target, but well, technically here is like L targeting, that's what in Zelda will be CL targeting. So if there's enemies around, you can mess with your angle.
So this is the general. General fight is one of the harder fights to optimize because you want these guys here. Well, okay, I thought it was only 3, sometimes only 3 spawn. But you want to kill them ideally with the Blade Geyser, which is a technique that we have. Didn't work out there, so we gotta finish them off manually. Now he's gonna spawn 4 more. I'm gonna try to like lure them with my sword altogether. Doesn't always work. Still usually like is a good idea to wait. That looks good. Okay, and now he's gonna charge at us. And now we gotta finish him off. There's blocks, can't really do anything then.
Anyway, if you've played this game casually, you'll know that those things that appear over the enemy's heads are like prone to like some, this prone for example. They are like some strong finisher attacks, but A, those are slow because they are like a very long animation, and B, you get less money if you do those, and we're actually gonna spend like, I think it's 200 souls now to get an ability that's gonna break the game a lot.
Yeah. Some enemies we still kill like manually, even if it might theoretically faster to kill them with the well, that instant kill, or however you call it, glory kill or something. But we do that just to get more well, wrath, which you get by fighting enemies normally.
Yeah, Wrath is like our mana in this game, is what we were using to use the earlier spell, the Light Geyser.
Alright, so now here is a very hard puzzle. Just gotta pull these 2 statues towards the middle. Still kind of the tutorial part of the game, I guess. But yeah, things are gonna get really interesting very soon, like movement-wise especially, because we're coming to a part which very fittingly is called choking grounds. Hope I don't choke there, but we'll see. Anyway, now we have to do a little detour to buy an ability called Meteor Strike. We also just got our glider. Meteor Strike allows us to perform a dash in midair, and dashing in midair is very useful not only for skipping some things here in early game, but also for well, a technique that we'll see in about 10 minutes or something that is basically breaking the whole game open. And yeah, first we gotta wait for the merchant here to finish his speech. And we bought Meteor Strike. Now we can just save the game and load the game, and what that does is it puts us in a cutscene that is supposed to happen here somewhere. Loading zones in this game, or generally triggers for loading, are a bit weird, and we don't fully know in every occasion how they work. There is a certain skip very soon, kind of a wrong warp, which not even the like Aftermath knows fully how it works. I think it has to do with FPS, whether you can get it. We'll see whether it works out. Anyway, gonna backdash here again using the enemy now to like go down this path here. Darksiders movement is a lot about chaining different types of movement techniques and using them like to your fullest advantage.
It's more invisible ground because this game is like very well programmed.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna jump here now and extend my length at the ceiling with like a sword attack, because there's a loading trigger up there, and let's see if we got it. Okay, we got it, nice.
First try.
That's good that that worked. Doesn't save too much time because you will get it like, okay, the camera is doing weird things there, but you'll get it second try all the time. As I said, loading zones are a bit weird in this game, but yeah, that's nice. Okay, this is Choking Grounds. It's like the first really hard part of the run for beginners who learn the run. What we first gotta do is we gotta prevent a soft lock here. We do that by triggering the golem gate and then loading an autosave. Otherwise, we could not progress soon.
Yeah, this basically forces the game to load what's like behind the golem instead of it staying unloaded, which is really useful because we're kind of gonna break the game like right now.
Oops. Okay, so I'm lining myself up here and hello. Lining myself up here. And then doing a Meteor Strike dash, well, to the other side, and that allows us to get on here and pick up the first Armageddon Blade piece. We're gonna collect some more later, but yeah, this is the one that we're gonna get now, or that we actually can get now.
Yeah, this is basically like endgame items. We just collected 1 out of 7, so don't worry about that just yet. What you should worry about is what's coming like right here, which is a pretty like feeling this can be costly, but it can be very consistent.
Okay, well, I had the wrong inputs there, but it's fine. You can just get up there again. It's very important that you have your angle correct for a lot of tricks like that. So you saw me like trying to set it up. Unfortunately, that did not work out, but we're just gonna try it again. Thing is, here you can easily recover, but once we get out of bounds, you can't recover. And if something goes wrong, then you have to reload this autosave, and that's like a big time loss. So try that again. Turning around. There's an invisible platform. It's not over yet. We still have to get around this corner. There are some walls that we want to avoid.
We're out of bounds.
We're out of bounds. Now this is kind of tricky, this part, so I might focus a little bit.
Yeah, the way out of bounds works in this game is that walls actually exist like both sides. In most games, walls only exist on like one side, and the other side will let you go through the wall. On this game, walls exist on both sides, but you actually can only see the wall from the side you're supposed to be like inside the rooms. So you need to like know where the walls are by heart so that you don't actually like collison into them.
And now we're inbounds again. That's good. That worked first try. Nice. Because like if we fell down there, as I said, we would have fallen into the void. We would have needed to load the autosave. And coming up is a pretty cool part in terms of the dash movement. I use like a bat here again to get where we want to. Ideally, we're gonna dash down the stairs and now dash around these enemies and set this up again for some back dashing. Like, as I said, always about combining the different types of movement. Why we go here is to trigger Valgrim. These are basically teleporter locations, and we're gonna utilize those later to get the Armageddon pieces really quickly. So we're just grabbing the Valgrim locations that we can grab while we're in those areas. Yeah.
It's like late game setups.
Exactly. It would cost so much time to go here manually through all the areas again later, so just do that now. Alright, choking round's not over yet. Still something hard coming up, and something, if you mess it up, it's pretty annoying, so let's hope that goes well. Gotta use these jump replenishers, I guess, or something, which allow you to glide.
Yeah, there's like 2 skips coming up. The first one's like right here. We're supposed to fight a big guy right here, but the trigger's kind of badly placed, so you can just do that, and there's no fight. That one's called Meteor Strike.
Interestingly, a skip that has been found really late. There was another method of that skip where you would go over the chains or something, and it was pretty precise and like a really reset-heavy spot. So we're lucky that we don't have to do that anymore. And this is window skip.
Yeah, nice.
Despite how maybe easy that looks, I'm really glad that worked first try, because this can really be very finicky and cost you a lot of time, and also like it can be really annoying. You have to basically jump there onto the window part and then set your camera up. Camera is kind of weird in this game, and then do like precise backwards inputs and jumps, and yeah, that's nice.
He made it look easy, but it's actually like really precise. The ledge you can stand on is very small, and then you have to dash backwards. So you're like the Q you're using, you have to find it both fast because it's a speedrun, and like it's a really small Q because the ledge you're standing on is really small. You're not supposed to stand there.
Anyway, as you can see, we have approached the most exciting part of the run, a 7-minute auto-scroller. I'm looking forward to this. So what can we explain here? There is a technique we're using, or a glitch rather, exploit maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to happen. Normally you can either fight these fire beams, or you can lock onto enemies and just shoot these blue beams. But what we can do now is we hold the middle button, mouse button, and then just left click, which for whatever reason creates a stream of the fire beams and does damage like per frame or something. And this is like absolutely imbalanced and allows you to clear this auto-scroller just by well, firing this laser, we call it.
Yeah, it's completely broken. You basically like hold both attacks at the same time, and the game gets like doesn't really know what to do. So like it's firing once per frame, and it gives us such high DPS But there's actually some enemies that weren't supposed to be able to kill because they're mostly for animation that we can actually kill by doing this. That's
Yeah.
how much DPS we have.
The thing is, from what I've been told, normally if you play this autoscroller just with the regular fire beams and the lock-on beams, then you can't even kill all enemies because there are some sections where a lot of enemies fly by. But if you use this laser, you can do that, so it's pretty cool. Some different enemies here, angels, car throwers. Some enemies are even fighting each other, so that's pretty cool if you play this casually.
Yeah, casually is actually a pretty good section. Especially like in higher difficulties, since you can't kill everything, you have to actually focus a lot on like dodging shots and stuff.
On the other hand, on easy, there's a chance if you just at the beginning leave your PC and grab a coffee or something, that you will survive till the end. It's pretty weird that they just made it that easy, but yeah.
There's a point in the scholar where you can like leave. I think it's like 5 minutes. It's been time actually.
Yeah.
And when you come back, you'll still be alive. Especially since I didn't explain that earlier, but you know when we did the second fight skip, the one where we jumped over a thing by using a car, and there was the first invisible platform where we kept Chaos Form. I did say that. We actually also kept like 3 extra health bars. So right now we have way more HP than we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have like the normal health bar and +1, and we have 3 extra.
Yeah. And here, if you look at the top left of the HUD, there are 2 yellow bars. We've mentioned the Wrath resource earlier. And our goal now for this cave part is to fill up the 2 Wrath meters almost completely. We can't fill them up completely, but we'll fill them up so we are able to do 2 Blade Geyser attacks in the garden fight, which is coming up after the segment. And that saves a few seconds. So what you want to do here is you want to kill all the red flies that you see, because those give you Wrath. The angels here give you Wrath, and there's giant bats that give you also a lot of Wrath. And yeah, you don't want to miss those, because yeah, then you can't really do the 2 Blade Geysers. Anyway, there are a lot of fly spawns here that are consistent and a big bat, so you kind of need to memorize where the enemies spawn and fly around. The green bats, green flies don't really matter too much. They give us some souls, but we don't really need many souls for the rest of the game. I think we need like 1,500 or something for like buying a potion later.
By, like simply playing the game normally.
But yeah, this is still autoscroller time.
I mean, there isn't really much anything better to do, so you kill them anyway. But if you didn't kill them, it wouldn't really matter.
But actually, you need to focus here kinda to like kill all the red flies, so it's not that boring. So
yeah, the more red flags you kill, obviously the better. If you kill them, like I think it's all but 3, you actually get 2 Blade Geysers for the garden fight that's coming up. If not, you can just like, as long as you kill 1 bar, you're mostly fine. But yeah, if you kill like basically every single fly, you can save like at least 10-15 seconds. So that's actually a very hefty amount.
it makes the fight easier. Also, there's a bat spawning here right now that we kill right the moment it spawns.
That bat you're supposed to be able to kill. It's supposed to, like,
destroy this bridge, yeah.
But yeah, laser just makes everything basically
Absolutely,
die instantly.
Balanced. Yeah, what else is there to say? Well, the sound with this laser is also kind of glitching out, as you will see in a second. You might have heard that already. It's kind of crackling a little bit. Well, yeah, we're only like, I think, 2 minutes away from the end of this autoscroller.
Yeah, this is not basically the exit, but yeah, it's like almost there.
Some sets of flies left. It's actually kind of a nice chill part that gives you a break before the real run begins, before we get another item, the boomerang, and that item completely breaks the game.
Yeah,
Not thanks to like having some special abilities, but we have 3 items then. We'll explain that in a bit, I guess.
But you've been saying, like, up until now, I know the game's supposed to be Darksiders, but this is not what the speedrun usually looks like. We're about to swap into a completely different mechanic by having, I think, 2 items, Horn and Boomerang. And as soon as we have more than 1 item, we can like completely break the game. We're not gonna be inbounds like for more than a minute at a time, I think.
Like so far, we've already seen some out of bounds, but prepare to not see much of inbounds anymore. There are some segments, but yeah, we're gonna skip a lot, especially from the dungeons. So yeah, speaking of dungeons, we're coming up to the first real dungeon. As I said, this game kind of borrows took inspiration by from Zelda. for example, and it has dungeons which you need to clear, collect some items, fight mini-bosses, get hearts from bosses, so you can fight the last boss. The first dungeon we're gonna see the first half like almost completely or a big part of the casual route, but then we get the boomerang and things will get interesting. So this was the last part of the autoscroller, the flies, and our Wrath looks good. It should be like 3/4 filled and like the second bar, and it looks good. So
Yeah, that looks pretty
we
good.
should be fine. I don't think the amount of flies that spawn here is RNG, but how they spawn in different swarms and so on. So yeah, you really don't want to miss too many. Anyway, we're seeing Tiamat now approaching, who's the first boss of Darksiders, also first dungeon. And here in this first area, we cannot dash backwards, which would be a bit faster because there are enemies around again. So we're doing the near sideways dashing technique, which was found by Aftermath like only half a year ago or something. It's actually fairly simple. You just go into focus and aim mode and press well, dash and the directional key at the same time. And yeah, it's definitely faster than just forward dashing, as you can see, because forward dashing has a cooldown.
It's a very difficult puzzle, by the way.
Very difficult puzzle indeed. Like, you have to pick up the sword, put it in another statue. Voila, that opens the door. And the thing is, I think Kuro, another runner of this game, saw well, people who played through the game casually on Twitch, and a lot of people, surprisingly, got stuck with this puzzle, didn't really figure out what to do for, I don't know, at least 10-15 minutes. Don't ask me.
A small fun fact, that sword that we grabbed and placed again actually has more damage than our current sword, because the sword in this game like gets upgraded by killing enemies, and the game expects us to have upgraded at least once while we're here, but since both of us keep like basically all the game up until here, I still have sword level 0.
So our goal is to now get up on that balcony. To get there, since we can't really jump infinitely yet, we have to go around and do the regular route. But first, this is Garden Fight. It's pretty well coordinated what you have to do. Like, we're gonna attack these enemies, then use a Blade Geyser here to get rid of one and set up damage for the other ones. Now one is gonna spawn here. We have to do 13 hits in order to be able to clear them up. So with the sword cancelling, we can do that pretty quickly. Sometimes they block, they're really annoying.
The real annoying part of Garden Fight is what's coming up right now, which is the bats, because the bats can sometimes like fly away from you and stay there for like 20 minutes.
Well, not exactly 20 minutes, but for a very long time. Okay, so one more enemy that we're gonna clear. Now we want to get rid of the bats. Like, okay, that's actually really lucky.
Really
wow,
good.
that they both were there lined up. So that would be really nice in a run. Anyway, 2 enemies left to kill. And yeah, as you can see, the sword cancelling just allows us, the enemies to not actually deal any damage to us unless we would not do it correctly. And yeah, that was the Garden Fight. Pretty quick actually, so I'm happy for that. And the thing with the sword cancelling is you'll get better over time. In the beginning, it's despite it might despite it sounding like just mashing, it's not actually mashing. It's like very precise timed inputs, but you'll just get them in your muscle memory over time, so it's not too bad. You'll just get faster and faster. Anyway, I tried to do a strat called Fast Bomb there. There are bombs also borrowed from Zelda, and you can hit the bombs and throw them immediately, like they will explode. And that's actually really nice. That works out.
Right now he's already setting up like the next big skip, which is called Balcony Jump, which is a jump that he's gonna do like right here, like that.
Okay,
and that
first
skips
try,
like
nice.
half the dungeon basically.
And that was actually a working fast bomb that you saw there. It's pretty risky because you can fall off the balcony. So yeah, nice, that worked. If I fell off there, the balcony, by either not making the jump or yeah, falling off thanks to fast bomb, then we would have needed to go around again, and that would have been like a 50-second time loss. And that obviously, well, is kind of a reset if you are going for a really good time.
This is the boomerang, so we're about
now
to
the boomerang.
break the game completely.
And what the boomerang basically allows us to do is we're gonna switch our weapons by, well, I have two keys, like the keys for jumping and switching the weapon bound next to each other. And we're gonna do that like triple, so we switch through all items. And while we're doing that, we're also using our item. And that allows us to magically just gain height and, well, get the jump back. And normally you're supposed to fight some enemies there. These enemies also don't really know what to do. We're just gonna go out of bounds here.
And walls don't exist past a certain height, like there, because you're not supposed to never go that high, so you can just kind of be out of bounds wherever you want. Right now we're just heading straight to the boss fight, since we can just skip the dungeon by being out of bounds.
Okay, I might have stopped the route. No, should be fine actually.
Fine,
Okay.
yeah.
I was kind of confused there for a second. Anyway, this is not working perfectly, but that's fine. Our goal now basically is just to get to the boss. And yeah, here's the door. And if we touch the trigger there, then we spawn inbounds again, because the game thinks now we made it there legitimately.
A huge amount of this game is just being out of bounds and knowing where the triggers are and which triggers you want to hit.
Yeah. That's also like one of the biggest, or been one of the biggest challenges of routing this run, because like the infinite jumping, which is actually the name of the technique, wasn't there forever, and or there was like another slower, harder method before. But yeah, it was all about figuring out where are the loading zones, how can we reach them as quick as possible, which directions do we have to take, and so on. Because this game actually has like a system where you need to trigger the loading zones after each other to actually, well, progress and spawn the other loading zone triggers.
So this is Tiamat, and the idea with Tiamat is that there's bombs around here, there's 4 bombs, and you're supposed to like throw them at her and then use the boomerang to light them on fire. But in the first phase, well, in every phase, but especially in the first phase, if you just throw the bomb through the fire, it will instantly light up and you can skip throwing the boomerang. Aside from that, it's just normal sword cancelling and blocking her attacks as good as you can.
So yeah, Tiamat is just flying around for a bit. This is like the first phase. Nothing really too exciting happening. She's gonna swipe through the air, or just dash through the area 3 times. We kind of want to just get to her side so she can't hit us. I'm just gonna grab a bomb now. Place myself here, and now just fire that bomb at her. Now I'm gonna use. Well, wait, did it hit her? I don't think it did. Okay. Oh, sometimes the bombs fly all over the place. Come on, fly somewhere else. Okay, nice. Okay, I think now we hit her.
That should work.
Okay, that took a bit, but now we could use the boomerang to actually light up the bomb that was placed on her. And now she will fall down here. And this is where sword cancelling comes into play again. She's gonna dive down, we're gonna block her attacks, and then sword cancel again, block her attacks hopefully.
Also, Tiamat boss design is a bit wonky, to not say bad, because like that big dive bomb that we just saw, a casual player doesn't really think of blocking that because it's like huge. So you'll normally like run away, but if you run away, Tiamat doesn't swap at you or anything. She like starts firing fireballs, or either that or does another bomb attack. So it's actually kind of really annoying actually.
So the first attack here from the left side, you always have to actually block. But then if you're fast enough with the sword cancels, well, you will stagger her and can finish her off then that way. And that was the Tiamat fight. So that's the first dungeon done. We've seen some out of bounds, we've seen a bit of the dungeon, but for the rest of the dungeons we're not gonna see anything anymore. Also, war, for whatever reasons, invisible. And yeah, now we can warp to different locations, and that's what we're gonna do from now on. So these are maze pits, I think, or snake pits I think they're called. And these are basically just intermissions between teleporter locations. And we can infinite jump sideways here into the teleporter, and now, well, we will just fly towards the next area that we need to be in. The thing is, we cannot go to the final dungeon or like to the final boss. We have to fight all the other bosses. The game kind of checks whether we did that, so unfortunately there's like...
Yeah, even though we have infinite jumps, so we can technically go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
The game actually like checks. Plot-wise, you're supposed to collect 4 hearts by beating 4 bosses. And the game actually checks how many hearts you have to unlock the final dungeon. You can actually, if I recall correctly, I haven't tried it myself, but I believe you can actually get to the final dungeon, you just can't get anything to spawn.
Oh yeah. So there's another loading zone down here, which we're gonna wait, other side. We're gonna fall into. You don't want to be in aim mode because then the game has like a 50% chance of crashing. It's kind of weird. Loading zones are pretty bugged in this game.
Aim mode is also known as crash mode in the community. Like it crashes the game way too often.
It happens especially for new people a lot that they forget to get out of the aim mode. Yeah. Also, what I can suggest is looking at the minimap, because I obviously know the route, but I'm also looking a lot at the minimap to know like where exactly I'm going. For example, here, like how I need to trigger the Valgrim and where I need to fly.
Right
also
there, he has got another vendor through the floor because there's like a small trigger area around the vendor for where you can get it, and it stands a bit down.
And there's water beneath the level. That kind of reminds me of Brickmo Witches, Dishonored. But yeah, we can just swim here now. So there's a golem who is actually spawned, but that's no problem. Like you don't wanna infinite jump here now. You would trigger the golem and go inbounds. We don't want that, so we're just doing a backup strat there and just using our sword to get the height to trigger the loading zone.
The golem is actually terrible since we're using A, we're using the whole time, and B. If you trigger golems, they technically, like, literally banish you into a Shadow Realm, and that's not a joke. That's literally what the golems do plot-wise. So it's actually a very lengthy section, and the best option will be to like reload and try it again.
So again, going out of aim mode for a bit to not crash the game. There's still plenty of other opportunities to crash the game though.
And right now we're technically, well, we're not really entering the second dungeon, but this is like the entrance of it. And we're just gonna do it out of bounds and go inside the dungeon immediately. Like right now, I believe.
Yeah.
We're entering the
here's
second
another.
dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another loading zone. Oops, come on.
It's actually kind of sad because we're skipping a character who has a very good English accent. Like, actually really amazing to listen to. But we just kind of skip him, and he's really sad alone, working his forge.
Alright, so this structure just spawned, and we need to get on it to set up another loading zone infinite jump. So I'm gonna go here. I have a specific setup to line myself up, and then I'm gonna jump down here and do backwards dashes with a pretty precise angle. Because there's a loading zone that I want to hit. I will see whether everything went well when there is a door appearing very soon above me or next to me.
It's not really
Not
hard,
that door.
but it's decently precise.
This door, this looks fine. I just need to have the right height, and we should get a loading
Yeah, that
zone
should work.
very soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea there is that there's two loading triggers together, and you really want to hit the second one. Hitting the first one spawns a channel before this one we're in right now, and that's, don't really want to say really bad, but it's bad enough that you really
It
don't want
wastes
to happen.
some time, and it's really annoying just if it happens. So yeah, we cannot go to the boss because we need a certain item to beat him. So we're just gonna get it. It's the, well, I don't know what its name is, but it allows us to destroy the ice statues, ice blocks here around. And the boss has some of those ice statues, obviously.
The game is very much Zelda-like in the sense that every dungeon is like, go to a dungeon, collect item, go to the boss.
Yes.
And since we got infinite jump, we don't even need to solve puzzles, we can just follow that streamline.
And well, there's a mini boss. See ya. Just gonna get out of here.
We don't even need to fight many bosses as you're seeing right now, we can just like get out.
Like, there's the walls in this game are almost non-existent, so.
It's doing right now is actually really precise.
Lining up
There's a
something
strat
else.
called Fist Jump, which is like really not recommended for beginner runners. I myself have never tried it, for example. And the idea is to like do a lot of dashes like this, which by the way is basically the same as infinite jumping, except you immediately dash, so you don't actually never get hit because you're dashing straight up. And then you like do a lot of dashes, and at some point you're supposed to hit a loading trigger. And what that loading trigger is gonna do is that it's actually gonna spawn the boss room straight up.
Oh yeah,
That's
okay,
right
that was
there.
kind of close, but it worked, luckily. If you don't hit that loading zone, ooh, don't fall down. So that's something I also didn't mention. If you drop an infinite jump, which with some practice rarely happens, but if it happens, you can fall down like very quickly, and that costs a lot of happening now again.
Holding an infinite jumping is way harder than it looks. This is like infinite jumping is where most people quit, and one of the big reasons why Darksiders doesn't have that many runners, because it's very input intensive.
I'm not sure where I am. Like, because of falling down there, I kind of messed up my location. I think we're supposed to go. This is like, you're so used to certain out of bounds like routes that if you don't get them instantly, oh god, are we swimming?
Like getting lost out of bounds is something that rarely happens, but when it does happen, it's kind of like, where am I right now?
Just, okay.
That's
All gonna
should
be
it, I
fine.
think.
It should be here somewhere. I just don't see it yet. Ah, wait, that looks good. I think that's that looks good. Exactly. Here's the spot where there's another loading zone, and like we just need to get in this corner to trigger it, and then you will see very soon that some other structures to the left appeared, which we're gonna infinite jump on. Let's see here. Another loading zone down here. You will see, or maybe not see, but the lighting will change and some blocks will spawn here that allows us to actually fight the boss. Otherwise, the boss, we wouldn't be able to fight him or trigger him.
We're just collecting triggers right now, to be honest. We're just making the game think that we're like actually doing the dungeon, so it allows us to fight the boss straight up. And right here is the boss room.
Exactly, there's the boss room, and you can see the crystals. Normally you're not supposed to destroy these crystals up front, but we're just gonna do that since we fell into the boss room before we actually triggered the boss, which you can see now. And well, that gets rid of all the obstacles in the way and allows us to finish all the boss, the Griever, really quickly.
The Griever fight is very hard, and by very hard I mean really trivial, because the boss is like really broken. So you're supposed to like grab this thing and push it against her a couple times, but you can actually do this during cutscenes. So in the end, you do this without ever getting hit really. The only hard part is like this, like right here there's a very precise distance where the boss can knock the car back if you don't get it. But it seems to have worked, yeah.
Yeah, that like, if you are too close to him or have the wrong angle, he can sometimes push back the cart immediately, and that wastes quite some time, so we definitely don't want that.
So right there, yeah, he has held the fist during the cutscene, and it immediately shot up to her. And now we're just gonna kill her right up with Chaos Form.
Yeah, Chaos Form is like, does so much damage that we really utilize it for bosses or strong mini-bosses to finish them off really quickly.
That's the second boss, so we now have the second part.
I don't think I'm gonna get it.
Kill the thing! Go, go,
I'm just
go.
gonna waste some time. Okay,
Yes.
no, well, still did it. It's, well,
That's literally
nothing, don't worry about
relevant,
it.
but you have enough time, so you definitely have to do it.
so what is gonna happen now? We're gonna get a weapon, another weapon, and that is the pistol. Also, is it a good run? Yeah, it's a marathon run, so it's a good run, and we jump into the lava. But yeah, we just got the pistol. We can reload the autosave, and the pistol is like a godsend. It allows us to not only do another, wrong way, another technique called gun dashing, but it also makes infinite jumps much easier, much faster, much more convenient. So every runner loves the pistol.
And dashing is what he's doing right now, and the idea is that the gun's supposed to like have a momentum. I don't wanna like the gun's supposed to freeze your momentum. I wanna say. Because you're technically like shooting, so you're standing still. But if you dash and then immediately shoot, the gun will actually keep the dash momentum for the entire time. So you can actually just like chain dashes really, really fast while keeping the dash speed for the entire time.
So now, basically, the cooldown that the horn had is removed, and everything that's left is, or that determines how fast you can infinite jump is just how fast you can do the inputs. It's like 5 or 6 buttons that you need to press at the same time and consecutively. It's pure muscle memory. You'll get faster over time, but yeah, if you can do them really fast, you can still save plenty of seconds over the course of the run.
By the way, small side note, we were supposed to give the heart that we just got to the NPCs that actually tasked us with getting the hearts to get a new power-up. But the infinite jumping and the gun especially are so strong that we actually don't need any of the power-ups that he's gonna give us anymore. So we're just gonna like escape him the entire time and deliver all 4 hearts together.
Yeah, that obviously saves a lot of time. And there I went from inbounds to out of bounds to inbounds again by activating a chest from out of bounds, which puts us inbounds. And that chest contained an item, a late game item actually.
Very late game item.
Yeah, which you're only supposed to get, I'm not sure, before Straga or the final fight, but...
Right after Straga, yeah.
Yeah, and that item allows us to finish off, for example, Spider boss, which we're gonna see later, much more quickly, and it's like a really cool thing to get. And we need to get inbound, or needed to get inbounds anyway, so we just picked it up there. It's a pretty cool route in my opinion.
Our damage right now, even though our sword is still like level 0, our damage is more than respectable right now. It's actually, I would say, on the high side. Don't really know, but I'm pretty sure it is. And right now, even though this doesn't really look like it, this is basically like the 3rd dungeon already. We're going to the, like, it's open world. Well, it's not open world, but like, it's not really like in a building, so it doesn't really look like a dungeon. But right now we're basically collecting the next item, which is actually a horse. Calling a horse an item makes me feel bad, but that's basically what it is. And after we collect the horse, we're just gonna head to the 3rd boss. This is actually like pretty annoying because you have to shoot this guy here, which makes you stop. So and then there's a loading zone in the middle sometimes, right there, which can mess up with your infinite jumps.
What we forgot to mention is that the timing of this game works not neither by real time or like a dedicated in-game time without loads, unfortunately, because there is no loads plugin, for example, for live split. But it goes by in-game time. It's kind of a compromise because so far nobody has really figured out to create a full no-loads plugin yet. In-game time is a bit inconsistent because every time you load an autosave, the time goes back a little. So every runner of this game kind of has to use the same route unless another route is determined to be faster, which is kind of a big entry barrier for beginners. So we would maybe like to have someone to like actually finish a plugin, but some people have tried and nobody has managed to do so yet, fully at least.
This thing that he has to do is very intended. I mean, very intended, I mean that it's completely not intended. He's supposed to, like, the power-up that I said we were supposed to have, it's like a time freeze power-up, and we're supposed to be freezing time through the entire, like, sands thing to actually run away from some worms or insta-kill. But Gun is just so fast, Conduction, that you cannot run the worm without any kind of problem.
May I interrupt you guys for a quick second here?
Yeah, sure.
We have a $1,927 donation from chrono.gg. Saying, here's the donation from yesterday's sale of Dusk. We are so enjoying the Darksiders run by henyK. Save the frames, save the children.
Awesome.
And to combine all of that, chrono.gg's deal for the Darksiders franchise pack also is live now, including the Darksiders War Mastered Edition, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, and Darksiders 2 Soundtrack. So make sure to get that.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Speaking of War Master Edition, by the way, this is actually War Master Edition. They released like a new edition, like the War Master Edition actually, which is like an HD version with some quality of life thingies. But they never actually bothered to fix any of the glitches that we're using. So you can actually choose which version to run on, and War Master Edition is so much nicer, even though it's like a couple seconds slower.
Theoretically, it's a bit slower because some quest pop-ups appear a bit later. But it's like not a big deal because it's not optimized down to seconds yet, and it's so much nicer to just play with a more stable frame rate and everything. And yeah, coming up is the most famous part of the run, I would say. It's Horse Arena. I'll just show you how hard this fight is. Or it's a multi-phased fight.
It's under construction yet. I don't know why these guys are here. It's supposed to be closed.
Looks normal to me.
Yeah, same.
This is like how I would have played through the game casually if I did.
But yeah, the idea basically is like we've been collecting some very specific triggers. So we've actually loaded both the arena and we've loaded the fight and the triggers for the fight, but we haven't actually loaded the arena itself. So enemies are just like spawning and then falling down out of bounds, and after they fall a certain amount, they just meet a kill point and die.
Yeah, exactly. But War luckily cannot die. We're falling down here, but it does not matter at all right now. We're just waiting for the enemies to disappear, and it triggers the certain phases after each other. You can see now there's another cutscene, some horses falling down, normal stuff, I would say. And like the last phase, we unfortunately cannot skip this way because there is a trigger. I don't know the name, like a quick time event that you need to trigger basically. And now the 2 car throws are falling down, so these car throws are unfortunately an RNG element. Well, it's not really RNG, but sometimes the second one doesn't fall down fully, you get stuck in mid-air. So hopefully we'll get marathon luck, good marathon luck. There's number 1, he pretty much always falls down. And the second one, okay, that was fast.
So nice.
Nice, well, at least we don't have to do the last phase manually of the fight.
Yeah,
Or
Crossroads
the second last
can
fight.
be annoying in that sense, because if the car throws don't fall down, you basically lose a minute. And it's like every month we think we figure out Horse Arena, we have a new strat, and it works for like the entire month, and then at the beginning of the next month it suddenly stops working, and we're like, well, I guess that wasn't what makes a Horse Arena tick, and we find another new strat that does the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I did a save and loaded that save, and that puts us in the arena again, loaded all the surroundings, and we can do the last phase manually. There's this mini boss. First get off the horse. Just gotta do that by attacking him with our sword cancels. And dodging his attacks, or maybe not dodging his attacks, doesn't really matter time-wise if he would give me the prompt. Alright, so this boss, actually what you can now see me do is I'm activating a potion in the cutscene, because this is a, well, it's an interestingly programmed game, I would say.
Cutscenes are very weird in this game. There's another one coming up.
Yeah, so this boss is really hard, even on easy difficulty, so we're just gonna use the Chaos form, place him here in the fire, which deals extra damage, and then just we're gonna finish him off with some of the Chaos form sword swings.
Yeah, and Apocalyptic, which is what we're playing on right now, this guy actually like, on 3 swings he kills you basically, he 3-shots you. So it's a pretty hard boss.
And there's our horse that we're gonna collect now. And we first had to hit it a couple of times, and now it's basically ours. We got the item for this dungeon. Yeah, pretty interesting thing here. People used to get over the gate here by infinite jumping, but in-game time-wise, it's faster to just create a save and load that save, because what that does is it opens this gate immediately and despawns the enemies. So it's kind of a trade-off again, but yeah.
So coming up next is a skip called Sunny Jam skip. This is a very good skip and like very aptly named. Basically this skip, we don't have a runner named Sunny Jams. Like a runner called Kuro found this skip, and then he went to Aftermath stream, which is another runner, and showed him the skip, and there was a viewer there called Sunny Jams who was like, hey, you should name it after me. And we named it after him.
Where it got the name.
And the idea is basically that this cutscene is very well programmed, so you can just simply jump up and actually get out of bounds basically immediately.
During the cutscene. And we're just gonna take the horse here down this cliff, normal stuff. And gonna load some more, I hope I didn't mess this up. Oh, come on. Another trigger.
Recovery.
It's working, I don't think it is. Just gonna go over there again.
We're just collecting triggers once again. We're like the boss room is just up ahead, but it's not actually spawned because we haven't gone the intended way, which is a long way around. So we're just collecting triggers for it to actually spawn.
Okay, so I kind of messed this up. It's gonna be fine though. Like you can try again. I just need to figure. Like this is one of the more I think I found it. One of the more finicky triggers. Like if you don't have the specific route, you can now see the background changed black, and that means we basically hit the trigger. You need to be careful though. There are 2 triggers, both right next to each other. One will like despawn another part here of the upcoming segment, and the other one we want to hit, which basically spawns it. So yeah, it's pretty precise. Yeah, and this is the Ashlands dungeon, and we're coming up to the Stygian. Pretty interesting boss, but also pretty long. And yeah. First off, we gotta kill these enemies here because the Stygian is still well, he's enchained. And you will see very soon that our sword will level up for the first time. We did not fight too many enemies yet, so normally you would level up the sword the first time during the first half hour of the game or something. But since we skipped a lot of stuff, well, the game is doing that now. It does not really matter. Sword cancels do much more damage than the sword would ever do by doing single hits.
Interesting to know that sword level up is actually based on damage done and not on enemy skill. So actually being on the horse allows us to level up the sword like really fast because sword multiplies our damage. The horse multiplies our damage by a lot. And I do mean a lot. I think it's on the factor of 20, I believe. Not really sure.
Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is, and that looks like it worked. I just need to get next to it. Right. If you move correctly, the boss will always behave the same way. You can basically set it up so you can be right next to him when he gets out of the sand again, and that just makes this fight really fast as well. And now,
Turn on the staff once again.
Sorry?
Yeah, is this intended staff once again?
Yeah, exactly. You're very supposed to just stand up here. Supposed to be able to grab a coffee or something.
Yes, the boss like technically spawning some enemies, but if you stand there, the enemies can't really reach you. And once they take your X coordinates, the enemies just like die because they're supposed to suicide into you, and you're not supposed to be this high. So once they actually take your X coordinates, they like just die because they've like technically touched you, even though they haven't.
It's faster than killing them normally, or just going through the arena and trying to kill them. This game is actually somewhat weird with enemies, boss fights, and so on. Sometimes it seems like you can do damage. Sometimes it seems like you can do damage to bosses, but you can't really. Everything is scripted very well. But you're not supposed to see that.
Also, sometimes these guys can like just fly, basically. I've only seen it like twice, but sometimes they just jump up and actually hit you. It's very rare.
Yeah.
It's really funny when it happens.
It doesn't really waste much time. So now we're gonna get down here and use our pistol to finish off the Stygian. Oh, well, not finish off yet. Gonna ride around him, finish off this phase. We need to pay attention that we don't get too close, otherwise he will dive into the sand again. This is fine because we finished the phase here. Now he's gonna charge at us.
I know it doesn't look like much, but it's actually like pretty precise, especially when you're learning. Because if you're too close, he just hits you and goes back in. But if you're too far, he like loses interest in you, I wanna say.
Wait, what is he doing? Like, didn't I hit him enough? I might have. Okay, that is unfortunate. I don't think
Fine, it's not much of a time loss. We just have to get back here again and wait for his worms to spawn again.
Grab another coffee, I guess. Well, that should not have happened. This is what you really want to avoid during a run, that this happens, because this is easily a minute of a time loss. I think I was just 1 damage away from actually finishing that phase. I think he got really close, not sure why, but what can you do? You can just chill some more.
Well, so while we're waiting, is it okay if I read 1 or 2 more donations for you guys?
Absolutely.
So we have a $20 donation from Anonymous saying, good luck to henyK on his Darksiders run.
Thanks, Anonymous.
We also have another $20 anonymous donation saying, does henyK ever run a game where you don't go out of bounds? Money goes towards killing the Kappa boss in Boshi.
Okay, I think, yeah, it was literally 1 HP that he had
Literally
left.
1 shot. Oh. That's pretty unlucky.
And now we're just gonna get hit 3 times by the Stygian, which is what you're supposed to do here.
They're actually supposed to get hit, but like the horse just negates any damage, so you just like get on the horse and get hit. It doesn't matter at all. I don't know. I don't really know what the objective of this is.
Most people just think you need to fire at him right now, but you're not supposed to do that. Just get hit. It's, as I said, a bit weird. Anyway, some more shots being fired here. Just gotta pay attention to not get too close to the wall here. You can also look at the minimap to prevent that from happening. And now you saw that we got the game slowed down and we did enough damage, and we can finish off the boss with a quick time event.
That's the 3rd boss. That's the Stygian.
Yes.
So now we're like 3 out of 5 bosses done per game. Well, technically 6, counting the final boss. So yeah, around halfway there, except it's not really halfway because now that we have infinite jump, everything's gonna go much faster, especially with time.
So we've got ourselves a new heart that we will give to Samuel later. But first we need to get out here again, taking the horse. Like, the horse is the fastest way of traveling on straight surfaces. So wherever we can inbounds, we're just gonna do that. But we can't, for example, here, so we're just doing some bandishes here. I'm gonna buy another possession potion here to have like another chaos form utilization later. And now we need to go to the Ashlands, to the next dungeon, or through the Ashlands actually. Here, Ashlands, you can also save and load again. It only works in like 2 or 3 3 locations, 3 maze pits, snake pits. Not everywhere. But yeah, it just places you next to the Valgrim outside. And yeah.
Regarding the horse, it's actually really weird how it works. Well, first of all, the control of the horse is like terrible. You actually control it with the camera rather than keys, because otherwise it's like impossible to actually control. And it's the fastest way of movement, but A, everyone hates it, so we're actually about to crush it into the walls multiple times. And B, you can spawn it everywhere. You can only spawn it in like sand, stuff like that. Here you can technically spawn it, but it's like inside dungeons, for example, you can spawn it. Obviously out of bounds. Well, you can actually spawn it out of bounds sometimes. Like on Sunny Jamscape, we actually spawn him out of bounds. But it has like really weird rules on where you can spawn it and where you can't.
So ideally you want to land here on the horse, or you want to press the spawn or summon a ruin. That's actually the name of the horse, we forgot to mention that. Technically you want to land like right on him again as you fall into the sand. It's pretty, well, yeah, you need to time it pretty well, but it saves some time. And here I jumped off the horse, back on the horse, and that gives me back my sprint ability. It's also faster than just waiting for it to replenish.
Yeah, I mean about crushing the horse, but it's actually faster, simply because the horse like despawns faster, so you can summon it again faster with full sprint.
So yeah, the game likes to give you here some more quick time events, so we're just gonna press E, very difficult.
Dungeons are getting like shorter and shorter. On this one, it's actually like just like 2 straight lines to collect the item and then instantly go to the boss. You can actually go to the boss straight up and it's spawn, but she's just like invulnerable for whatever reason.
To get the item first, item called the chain, and it's kind of, well, an item that most runners don't really like, because if you accidentally like misdo the inputs for infinite jumping, you will get chained. That's how we call it. And if you get chained, then that costs like 2 seconds or something. So for every time I get chained, I will donate, let's say, I don't know, 5 euros. So hopefully that doesn't happen too often.
And
Accurate will count, I guess.
I was supposed to do a meme here with like arachnophobia warning, but I think it's a bit too late for that since it just spawned. I'm sorry. And yeah, the idea with chain is that, I mean, if you mess up infinite jump inputs, English is fully hard. If you press it like once more, for example, you'll switch to chain, and every chain uses like 3 seconds, so it's like really annoying, breaks your rhythm. And right now we're just like doing a beeline for the boss room. It's actually already spawned for whatever reason, so you can just like grab the door and enter it. Right here.
Okay, that worked. If you fall down there, it's kind of annoying. You have to infinite jump back up. But yeah, it does not count. The chaining here does not count because we actually need to use the chain to well, get to the boss quickly.
Tulip is actually, it's an easy boss, but it's really hard to optimize because she has a lot of variables, and like she has teleports, and the teleports are kind of random. So it's actually really hard to A, predict where she's gonna spawn, and B, actually do the inputs I need to her.
So what she does here is she teleports around, and the amount of teleports or general teleports increases. Sometimes she just takes longer to actually spawn in the middle or something. It's kind of RNG. It costs maybe 10 to 15 seconds at most, so it's not too bad, but it's still somewhat annoying. But yeah, I'm also dealing damage, or able to deal damage once we chain towards her. But yeah, just avoiding her is really easy if you just lock onto her and dash backwards or sidewards once she attacks. Gonna do it once more, I think, unless I mess up. But we'll see that in a second. I think we should be fine. Should be able to finish her now.
Now there's another very well programmed cutscene. There should be at least. Right there. Where if you're fast enough, which henyK probably is gonna be, you can kill her during the cutscene. Because it's like very well programmed. You saw that he was actually like already infinite jumping upwards. That's still that. That's the final heart. So now we're actually forced to go back to Samal to get the hearts, which is something we've been avoiding to do.
Alright, so this is a bit of like a stretch part, longer part, where we just take the horse all the way back and so on. So if you have some donations, feel free to leave them. Anyway, first of all, here we're gonna just use our gun dash to get towards the door. The doors can be somewhat hard to grab, by the way, so you kind of need to pay attention
especially
to
in
be
aim mode.
aligned
Really
well.
annoying. But yeah, right now just backtracking to Bullgreen so you can teleport back to I don't remember how the area is called, but basically Samuel's area. And once we're
Scalding Gallow, I think. Is
yeah,
it?
you're correct. And once we're in Scalding Gallow and giving the cards, Samuel is just gonna warp us to the not the final area of the game. Well, actually, it kinda is, where we're gonna have to kill another boss. And like I actually kinda want to explain that in the area itself. But I've been saying that like the way dungeons work are that you collect the item, you go to the boss. But I've also said that dungeons are getting shorter and shorter, and this one's actually gets so short, then we're actually gonna skip the item and just go to the boss straight up. Once we get to the dungeon, you'll see what I mean. Also, if you fall down into the sand, you actually can't use the gun, so you need to spawn the horse again. It's really, really annoying.
So yeah, another horse grab there from mid-air. It's pretty cool looking, in my opinion. We're gonna get through this desert to the teleporter.
And Wolverine's like right there. Here.
The game is actually kind of weird in terms of the camera here. If you move too quickly after landing there on the sand, the camera just spazzes around. It's pretty strange, so you kind of want to avoid that. We go towards Scalding Gallow now, deliver the hearts as Akrit said. And yeah. And we're getting close to endgame. Still some things to do. Bosses to fight.
Also, once we get to Samal, we're actually gonna get like a million pop-ups from all the power-ups that he was supposed to give us. There's also a pretty cool glitch, like Hani can get it, which like you can get two Samals up at the same time because of the amount of cards that you have. Technically, you're never supposed to hold more than one card at a time, so there's not really a safe card for you having more than one. Right now, you see Samal isolating it, and now we've just spawned another one.
It was probably a bit too quick to really see it, but yeah. Anyway, now we're getting teleported here, and this is a pretty annoying part, because we need to do a lot of infinite jumps. Also a lot of possibility for chaining.
Right now, if you looked up, like right there, that was the boss room. So we can just jump straight up there. And if you've played this game casually, you probably remember this area as like very, very long and annoying, because it was a very puzzle-heavy area with like, it was very confusing. The item is also kind of like a portal gun, so I mean the joke that we always make here is that we don't want to get sued by Valve, by the way. But like the portal gun is actually very annoying and confusing to use. So you can just like bypass all of that by simply jumping up and then hitting a couple of triggers, and that will cause the boss to spawn. It's also gonna make the boss a bit harder, because the boss is once again designed to be fought with the item that we've collected. So we need to make the game think that we've actually collected the item and we're using it in the boss fight without actually doing so, because we straight up don't have it.
So now I'm looking here towards the chest because there's another loading zone that we want to hit. You'll see once I hit it if the screen goes black. Like now. And now we just get over here. Just the elevator for the boss room. That's
that's a chain.
Alright, now the boss room spawned. It takes a bit, interestingly, come on. Interestingly, that it only takes a while to spawn in Warmastered Edition. It instantly spawns in the original edition for whatever reason, so that's the theoretical time save.
This is Straga. You may remember him from the beginning of the game. He's back because he technically killed us, so he's still alive. He has like this building on his side,
Transformer
like
something.
there. We don't know why he has a building, but it's where we'll just land to actually be able to kill the boss. And the movement he's doing is actually like really precise, because it's a movement that emulates the movement that the game like thinks you are doing when you are using the teleport gun.
And normally it drops you down from the hand.
Yeah. Basically, he like jumps up and then falls back down, and that's when Strapa drops the hand, and which is designed for the game thinking, oh, it's actually used the portal gun. Right now it's just Chaos Form to kill these enemies right here. That's the longest part of Strata, to be honest. Every cycle he has like spawns enemies and you need to kill them all and they have a lot of health. They take like, I think these take 5 hits with Chaos Form. They are just that tanky. For reference, Reaver, which was the second boss, took 3 hits.
And you can get somewhat unlucky here with the spawn. Sometimes the enemies will not move towards you. But this is also something where you kind of need to approximate where the enemies or how the enemies will move. So you can actually hit multiple enemies at once. And it's a place where you can save or lose a lot of time, despite not maybe noticing that you actually lost a lot of time.
Right now Strata is just like attacking and doing very wide attacks. So we're just like jumping over them, setting up both the portal movement and dodging attacks at the same time. It's really nice.
The platform up here is also really weird in terms of its hitbox where you can actually land on, so you kind of want to have the same position from how you dash onto it all the time, because if you fall down here it's basically run reset. At least you lose a lot of time. Might
you like
get
void
stuck.
out and have to respawn, and then there's another Strata cycle basically. He doesn't spawn stuff, but you need to like wait for his attacks again.
So just we used another potion there to get another shot at killing these angels here with Chaos Form. Spawns are actually somewhat nice.
Angels take 4 hits, so they are still like even tankier than Reaver, but it's less hits than the other guys, so that's nice.
You want to avoid getting hit by the hand if there are still enemies alive. Okay, there was one hiding. The problem is the camera is focused or locked onto Straga, so it can be sometimes pretty annoying to see where the enemies are. Almost
right
done with the fight.
Yeah. Right now this should be the last cycle.
Pretty long fight, really annoying if you learn the run, the game. Because if you mess this up, it can cost you a lot of time. Just gonna do the same thing again. First touch the left wall, then the right wall, and move towards the middle, and yeah, then we can activate the eye, which allows us to blow some final strikes on Straga, finally finish him off.
The way bit of a meme here, this strat is called the Meaty Panda strat, and just like the Sunny Jump skip, there's no one called Meaty Panda in the community. This was just a meme in a marathon that someone said, I want a skip name after me too, and we were on Straga, so we just named Straga Meaty Panda skip.
Alright, now we are in Eden, which is the place where the angels are, and we're gonna... normally we're supposed to fight, some shadow form.
Horseman. Oh, we like, just skip it.
But that's slow, so we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna get straight to the place where we're gonna get another item called the mask. The mask is actually the item that allows us to collect all the Armageddon shard pieces, or however you want to call them, to actually get the sword with which you can fight the final boss. Or spawn it.
Eden is actually pretty technical, because aside from infinite jumping, there's also another glitch that he just did, which is once you put the mask on for the first time, this fight pops. So if you enter the cutscene and then put the mask on, you get teleported back here. And then when you exit, the game thinks you're actually coming back, so it just sends the Eden section, like, it spawns the teleporter instantly. It's not hard to do, but it's pretty technical, and it's a pretty cool skip. It allows us to skip Eden completely. And right now, this is where this run. I know you guys think you're watching Darksiders, but you're actually watching Wind Waker HD already, so we're gonna be collecting the Triforce Pieces.
It's like so many elements from Zelda, but it's done in a good way. So now here I use the mask again. That might be close. To spawn this bridge, and we ideally want to go get here in time to not have to put on the mask again, because using the mask here actually allows you to interact with these embosses. But yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, plot-wise, like the plot just got explained back in Eden, so we just found out who the final boss is, and there's apparently no way of killing him aside from one legendary sword. There's like it's basically broken, and there's 7 pieces alongside the entire game. So now is when we're gonna be using the Bulgrim locations that he was popping earlier on to just teleport all around the game world and actually collect the pieces in the most efficient manner.
Conveniently enough, the actual Armageddon pieces are located pretty close to where the Valgrim teleporter is in most areas, so we can just get there. and collect them real quick. It's actually, for myself, pretty comfy part of the run now. There's 2 spots where you can lose a lot of time, but if you know how to avoid them, it's not too bad. And yeah, you can chill a bit, just, ride the horse.
Technically, there's a lot of puzzles going on. Like, for example, right here, we're just going to infinite jump to an Armageddon piece. Technically, you have to like go around and figure out how to get here, but since infinite jumping exists, you just like go straight up there. Why not, right? Also, Armageddon pieces have this weird mechanic where they both autosave and don't. So if you like reload once the Armageddon piece actually spawns, you need to like wait for the pop-up. This pop-up. If you reload now, you just get put in front of Fulgrim with the Armageddon piece in your inventory. So yeah, it like both saves you have the Armageddon piece, but doesn't save your position.
And this is also like the in-game. Come on, spawn.
Fulgrim, please.
The in-game time is a bit accurate because every time we load an autosave here, we lose a couple of seconds. So yeah, as I said, every runner kind of has to take the same route. It doesn't really matter in which order you do the Armageddon pieces, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. But well, we just are living with it, I guess.
We basically only load reloads that are actually like faster RTA too. If our reload's faster in game time but not RTA, we kinda don't really like it, and if we don't straight up ban it, we just like advise not to use it.
So here you see me not going straight to the Armageddon piece because there's actually a fight that we don't want to trigger. So we're just going over the trigger. Like the trigger is pretty big, the trigger zone, so you really need to go very high and far to not hit it.
There's a character that we haven't seen yet because we haven't seen anyone basically, thanks to glitches. But she's like hunting for you, and if she finds you there with the trigger, there's a pretty long fight that we can actually like. Once it's started, you can also jump over it, but it's way more annoying because she's like attacking you. And if she attacks you in midair, you just fall down completely.
Also, it kind of overrides the autosave and... Ooh, don't fall down there. Was that still only 1 chain so far?
Yeah.
But yeah, it overrides the autosave and then you have to get there manually.
Oh
so yeah, we forgot something.
Are we saving or killing Bear's crowd? Just say one of the two, it doesn't
save
really
or kill?
matter. Save or kill. Good time. So yeah, there's 2 bears here, and since we're just waiting for the Armageddon piece, this is our own little meme of either saving or killing memes in true GDQ fashion.
It does not save any time or anything. Did we already get the pop-up?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, we just do it. This Valgrim is a bit weird. Sometimes he doesn't spawn instantly. Like, you need to get close to him and then, like, back towards him again. It's strange.
Yeah, Valgrim only really spawns if he, like, sees you coming towards him. So sometimes when you reload, the game puts you a bit too close, and then Valgrim doesn't really want to appear.
What I just did there is I triggered I landed inside the teleporter from the, from below. It only works in this snake or that snake pit. Oh, come on. It saves like a second or 2 because you don't have to do 2 additional infinite jumps, but it's somewhat precise from the height that you have to hit it. So that's cool that worked. And yeah, we're almost done with the Armageddon charts. We have to get 1 more.
Anyway, I know I said that there's 7 pieces and we're only collecting 6, but if you recall correctly, at the very beginning, well, not the very beginning, but like 15 minutes in, we already collected 1 by doing the very first set of fans, so that's 1 less that we have to collect. And this is another like a snake hole, or snake path, I believe it's called, that has the weird property of like save and reload. Also, this is the most precise Armageddon Blade piece, because there's a kill zone that we're gonna be like right next to. And if you hit it, you get pivoted all the way back here, so it's actually kinda annoying when you're starting to run.
Yeah, you don't wanna hit it, like you don't wanna be too low. You don't wanna be too close to this building to not trigger an autosave. We're just gonna hopefully make it into this okay, that worked into this double jump replenisher thing, however it's called, glide thing. And we collected the last Armageddon chart.
Since the last one, you actually don't need to wait for the pop-up. You just can load instantly and the game still remembers that you got it.
Here you can see you need to get close to the Valgrim, back off a little bit, and then he will actually appear, which is kind of strange in some situations, or strange how to move. You need to move there.
Now we're going to actually get the sword. We have the fragments. We're gonna get the sword like reforged by the character that we actually escaped like earlier on in the second boss. He's just chilling still, and we're gonna go meet him for the first time. Well, technically the game thinks you've already met him, but for us the first time. Once again, kinda sad. His accent's really cool, but like whatever.
If you line it perfectly here, you can open this door sideways. It's just really hard. It's like the hitbox is very close, very tight if you do it sideways. Also, I'm just like I'm not instantly. Oh, where? There it is. I'm not instantly gun dashing again, because if you do it too early, you will get. I can show you actually. Like if you do it too early or too late. If you do it wrong, then you will get a dash on the ground, and that's slower than obviously gun dashing itself. So you want to avoid that.
Now we have the Armageddon Blade, which is like the final thing we have to collect, so we're just heading to the final boss. Also, as a small side note, Armageddon Blade can actually take away from your damage, because it has the same damage as a max sword, but you can put augments into it. So you can put like attack augments, which technically means you can lose damage if you're playing casually. It doesn't really matter speedrun wise, because it like gives us more than enough damage.
So yeah, another death warp there. Or not death warp, safe warp. Yeah, we're gonna see a really cool trick here that unfortunately is only used in this location. We can get off the horse and get back onto it near a wall, and what that does, you will see in a second. If that worked out, the timing is somewhat precise, so we're just gonna try it again. Also, the game buffers inputs, so you don't want to spam the horse button.
Buffers horse for a huge amount of time. You end up like getting off.
But yeah, what happened there is that by getting off and back onto the horse was just spawned on top of the hill, and yeah, we can immediately get up there that way. And that takes us to the destroyer, aka Abaddon. Really hard boss. Well, actually, second phase is somewhat hard for beginners, so yeah. But this part is a lot of people would like or would try to attack him now, but that does not do anything. Like it's all scripted again. Only once Abaddon like stands up, you can attack him. So you would just want to wait until then.
Yeah, you just need to hit him. I think it's like 5 times, and like
Four
only
or
one
5 times.
hit.
Yeah, 5 times. You're right. And now I'm infinite jumping here to avoid some more damage, or just to not get hit. And
Yeah, 2.
learn how to count with Darksiders, because actually, okay, let's see if we can still fix this.
Oh,
nope.
the jumps that Abaddon does are always fixed. They're always 2, 1, 1, 3. So if you can like remember and time it correctly, you can instantly like hit him. You can't hit him mid jumps. Like on the 3 phase, for example, you can't hit him on the first or second jumps because he just takes no damage. But if you time it correctly, you can just hit him a third one and he instantly goes on the floor.
So that was 2-1, right, so far?
I think that was just 2.
It definitely is. Was only 2. Well, you can actually just always try to go for 1 and still make it. So if you just want to play it safe,
I think there's a 1 coming up still.
should still be a 1. You're right. So now he's gonna fly up once again, drop down, can hit him, and what we can do now is, because he's gonna do 3 dives, we're just gonna ride around the arena. Doesn't really matter what we do now, because there's also a quick time event coming up, and yeah, we can prepare it better this way. Very hard again. Maybe you can guess which button we need to press.
Yeah, there's a lot of buttons we can press in a quick time event, so we also have to mash it like really, really, really hard, else we fail it, of course.
And the 3rd time, we're just gonna go to the middle of the arena. Now we need to pay attention to not get too close to him, because otherwise he will just take another turn, and that will waste quite some seconds. Yeah. So that's the first phase almost done. We're done, pretty much. Now we are pressing E. We're meshing E because well, that actually does not speed it up at all. And now we have to pray to RNG, because as we've already said, this game is interestingly programmed, has some issues with loading zones and loading stuff. The game might crash in a couple of seconds. See if that happens. It rarely happens, but it has happened at this event during practice.
Right here.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Now this is the final boss. He suddenly turned into some kind of dark angel from a dragon because that makes a lot of sense. And the idea is like, I know it seems like we're not really hitting him because like the block thing, the particles are coming up, but I actually need to like keep hitting on him until it pops this quick time event. Also, what's coming up next is he's gonna teleport away, and when he teleports back, you actually have to wait a bit. That's intentional because if you hit him too early, he just teleports away and you can really lay the damage on him.
Also, we're standing here because all that way
Go
the
Crown.
boulders will not hit us. Or they will hit, well,
Big
other
boulders, bad aiming.
and you can just sidestep here and dodge his attacks. And oh god, I should have jumped. Need to, yeah, do another round. Oh god. And that's almost the fight done. We're coming up to time again. And the last part here is a little bit different because he's gonna teleport and do his boulders, but then he will not be, or we're not able to hit him instantly because then he would teleport around the arena, and that would cost quite some time. So we want to avoid that. The urge is there to always attack him, but you kind of just need to.
Also, we're not shooting him with a gun even though he's far away because it literally does nothing. You can only damage him with the sword, just like blood-wise and also in-game-wise.
Waiting here again until he grabs the sword, and we can attack without him teleporting around. Oh god, I got hit. And oh, this should be the end of the fight in a couple of seconds. Time. So last quick time event here. 1,
Fight.
2, 3, and
Sure, time.
that is time. Darksiders, 20%. So yeah, 124.55 RTA. In-game time is about 7 minutes less, so that would have been like 117 in-game time, which is pretty okay for a marathon, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a respectable time.
And yeah, I just want to quickly give some shoutouts. First of all, to Accurate, thanks for the commentary, really appreciate it. Also, shoutouts to Aftermath, obviously. He's the world record holder, really good player. Then Inkalex, Kuro, a lot of people who have participated in the routing. Fox, we have to mention, found a lot of glitches. This game has gone like
Playing
through.
infinite jumping, so yeah.
Yeah, he found infinite jumping. It has gone through a lot of iterations. And yeah, 117.19. If you want to learn this game, there's a written tutorial, a video tutorial by Aftermath. It's a really fun, technical run. And yeah, feel free to ask us for any help you need. So yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, have fun with the rest of the evening and the marathon.